How's it going, folks? It is Matt back with another crypto video, and today we're going to talk about DigiByte. First thing to mention quickly here is the Bittrex exchange has launched a US dollar market for DigiByte, so DigiByte has obtained yet another fiat pairing with the US dollar. This is a tweet from Josiah Spackman talking about that. I'm sharing a similar sentiment saying thank you, Bittrex exchange, for your ongoing support of DigiByte. Your team has been great to deal with, and you have been a fantastic platform. And he's pointed out that it's been almost 5 years now since DigiByte was first listed on Bittrex. So here's to the next 5 years of trading and beyond. Again, thank you to the Bittrex exchange for this US dollar pairing. So let's get right to the news, the main point I want to make today in this video, and that is cybersecurity. As seen from this tweet here, breaking news: 773 million email and password records breached in the hack known as collection number 1. And whether or not you've heard about this or not, it's a massive hack. I think it was the largest ever in history. And to put this into perspective, the entire population of the United States of America is 325.7 million as of 2017. So over double the entire population of the United States. That's how many people were affected by this hack. 773 million individual emails, and I believe it was 21 million passwords to go along with these emails. There is a website up where you can type in your email address or your password to see if you were one of these affected out of these 773 million. I personally will not be typing my passwords into this website because I don't know how secure it actually is. I think to be on the safe side, you should just assume that you were, in fact, one of these 773 million people affected, and you should take the steps appropriate to kind of save yourself, I guess. If your email address, you should definitely go in and change or update your passwords just to be safe, just to be on the safe side. Ideally it would be create a whole new email and everything, but I understand the difficulty of all your different bills and work, friends, whoever already have this email address, and it's a very painstaking process to change all of that all at once. But at the very least, you should update your passwords just to be on the safe side. And an article, an op-ed written by Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple. He wrote this article talking about privacy and online security, and whether he knew it or not, he was really talking about Digi-ID and how it can solve the problems of cybersecurity going into the future. He's saying we all deserve control over our digital lives. That's why we must rein in the data brokers. In 2019, it's time to stand up for your right to privacy. Yours, mine, all of ours. Consumers shouldn't have to tolerate another year of companies irresponsibly amassing huge user profiles, data breaches that seem out of control, and the vanishing ability to control our own digital lives. This problem is solvable. It isn't too big, it isn't too challenging, and it's not too late. Innovation, breakthrough ideas, and great features can go hand in hand with user privacy, and they must. Realizing technology's potential depends on it. And really, the problem has already been solved with Digi-ID. As you can see from this tweet from Digi-Cedric, you can forget usernames and password combinations, forget SMS authentication, forget useless two-factor authentication, log into your websites like never before with Digi-ID. And you can read up more about it if you wish on DigiID.io. I'll provide a link to this tweet and the website itself so you can read up about it. And Tim Cook also went on to say, or quick mention here, is that realizing technology's potential depends on it. We're on the brink of artificial intelligence, and with drones being a huge part of the future, whether it's flying packages to your house or driving autonomous cars driving down the road in the future, that absolutely depends on how secure those systems are. We can't continue to advance. We can't release artificial intelligence if it is not secure. If AI could be easily hacked by someone with nefarious intentions or wishes to do evil on humanity or countries, it's bad news. You don't want these types of systems to be hacked, and Digi-ID can help secure these types of systems going into the future. And absolutely, if we're going to continue to advance our technology, cybersecurity needs to be at the forefront of our talking points. So Tim Cook went to Congress and he brought forward 4 principles that he believes should be a guide for legislation. And again, he's hitting the nail on the head with Digi-ID. He's saying, first, the right to have your personal data minimized. Companies should challenge themselves to strip identifying information from customer data or avoid collecting it in the first place. Digi-ID is that solution. You can log into a website, you do not need a username, and you do not need a password. You simply scan a QR code using the DigiByte mobile wallet to log into this website. And if the website does manage to get hacked somehow, the hacker is not going to get a username, they're not going to get an email address, they're not going to get a password, so therefore they have no usable information, and it could have eliminated this 773 million email addresses being attacked and hacked and now spread across the internet for anybody to do anything they wish with. He said, second, the right to knowledge, to know what data is being collected and why. You know, that part would fall more on the company and the website itself. There should absolutely be a transparent way for you to read up on what data is being collected about you and why are they collecting it. Third, you should have the right to access. Companies should make it easy for you to access, correct, and delete your personal data. Digi-ID would make that easy for you to access. And the level of security it offers would make it so that you have the peace of mind knowing that you and only you can access that data, because the Digi-ID cannot be duplicated, it cannot be replicated or forged, meaning that you have complete control of your data. And fourth, the right to data security, without which trust is impossible. Again, Digi-ID is providing the security we need for our data. And he says, Tim Cook goes on to say, laws alone are not enough to ensure individuals can make use of their privacy rights. We also need to give people the tools they can use to take action. Again, the tool has already been created in the form of Digi-ID. We simply need to start spreading the awareness about it and start demanding this level of security for our personal data. You know, this is your personal information and it's being mistreated and misused, and it's really time to stand up and say enough is enough. And Tim goes on to point out that one of the biggest challenges of protecting your privacy is every time you make an online purchase, the online retailer then sells your information to a data broker, and the sole purpose for this company to exist is to collect your data, package it, and sell it to yet another buyer. And that's kind of how they get their targeted marketing when you're on Google and you have ads that pop up of something that you recently searched or recently purchased. It's because your data is being stolen and it is not secure. And he goes on to point out that we never signed up for that. And we should absolutely have a right to say, wait a minute, that's my information that you're selling and I did not consent. So I think definitely Congress should pass some sort of law that if your data is going to be sold, you need to give them permission to do so. You need to have the option to say, no, absolutely not, my data is my data and I do not want it sold. Or you should have the option to say, I consent. But if you do consent and your data is sold, I feel like you should be entitled to some of the profit that the company is getting from selling your data. You know, it's your data after all. It just makes sense to me. But moving on, we'll move on to another tool. You know, Tim said that we need tools to ensure that we are in control of our personal data. Another tool coming from DigiByte, or rather Anthem-ID, it's coming this quarter, quarter 1 of 2019, is DigiZipper. And just a quick mention on what that is. We're putting forward a new cybersecurity tool in the name of DigiZipper. This will be working in synergy with Digi-ID and will replace WinZip. And WinZip is a very popular function that allows you to zip and unzip encrypted files. And the fact that Digi-ID will be required to unzip these encrypted files just adds an extra layer of security. So you have the peace of mind knowing that your files are secure and that only you can open them with your Digi-ID. You know, this really is the future of cybersecurity and how we're going to protect our personal data, as these attacks are not going to stop. You know, it was named collection number 1. You know, how big will collection number 2 be?